So guys, I'm glad you're here, that I can tell you about this wonderful device we have here in the TRT stables for helping my horses and me. I'm going to tell you the story of how I found out about it first, and then we'll go through how it works and how I find it benefits us here. It was some time ago, and I had caused myself a slight injury, not horse related, but I had a massive tear in my groin. I was in incredible pain. I'd done it the day before and I came out the morning of and I could hardly walk to the stable, and as a rider you think, yes, I just get on because normally if I can't walk at least I can ride. And I stepped up into the stirrup and it was on my right leg, so I had to swing that leg over the horse very awkwardly and found myself not able to sit, and I was hanging over my horse's neck. Luckily, it was a horse that was trained well enough that he wasn't afraid, but I was literally hanging off the neck, half sort of laughing, trying not to cry, and the girls in the stable actually had to come and drag me off the horse. So luckily we didn't have a video of that incident. But at the time, I had a working student here, Johannes, the son of the man from Hofmag, and a wonderful machine. And he's had his horses here, and he of course was using it to treat his horses as a kind of therapy before work, sometimes warming up, sometimes after the work. And I didn't know a lot about it. But he said to me, you have to go in and use the Hofmag. And at that point I was ready to try anything. I was kind of in agony thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to ride and I can hardly walk. I went in to the tech room and Johannes set me up with the machine, and I did 15 minutes on the area that I had the physical pain. And within 15 minutes I could get up and walk away. Stupidly, of course, I thought, oh, I don't feel anything. So I got on and I could also ride the whole day. The next morning he said, you better do the treatment again. I had the treatment again, and from that moment on I had no pain anymore, and actually the pain never came back. Of course this is a miraculous story and it's not going to be the case every time, but from that moment on I said, I have to have one of these machines. If it's doing this to me, I can't imagine how it's going to help the horses. The Hofmag K8 is the wonderful machine. It is really the next generation in pulse electromagnetic therapy. It is a therapy for the treatment of bones, soft tissue and joints, including the muscles, which is of course really interesting for us here. We are doing a lot of human horse type of therapies. We're doing a lot, of course, with our groundwork. We're doing a lot of tension release patterns. We're doing a lot of body work in conjunction with all kinds of things to help our horses to feel better and function better. TRT is of course built on a lot of rehabilitation of horses with behavioral issues, and the Hofmag for us is part of our management of that. I'll go into telling you also a little bit of a story of the types of horses we're helping, not only our own horses with the general management and well-being of their bodies and how they feel, and before riding to have relaxation, to be able to diagnose with the machine where they may be having difficulties, some tightness in the body. Of course, the general treatment if our horses have an injury, running in the field, if they have some arthritis, being older, some kind of bone or degenerative problems, it can help with that. Of course, if we have a horse with an injury, so a cut or some kind of wound, it is helping with the regeneration of that. It's a kick-starting of the cells for the cells to regenerate and create a functional use again through the body. So if we have a horse in training here that has some behavioral issues, of course, a lot of the time it's going in and looking at the functionality. What is the compensation patterns in the body? If a horse gets in a fear state, a tension state, he has a separation, compartmentalizing in the body where there's no connection anymore. Their bodies may be going into a predict and protect mode. They're having certain tension, certain blockages in the body. And when we start to go through the diagnosis process in the groundwork, we start to see some of these dysfunctions. And then I get a sort of relative idea of the duration of time it would sort of take, the ballpark, time it would take to sort of get these horses in a good pattern again. And then of course we started using the Hofmag, so we could start to feel in the groundwork, okay, the horse was incredibly tight in the hamstrings, or he was incredibly tight and closed and stiff in the shoulders. And so through our exercises and getting connection and stretching and our body work and sometimes acupuncture and these sorts of things, we would start to get a little bit of a relief and would start to feel the improvement over sort of a 2, 3, 4 week period. And then I started to use the Hofmag where I could start to feel those areas. The machine, funny enough, was telling us the same things as the horses were telling us in the groundwork. We could feel where the difficulties were in the connection of the body, the suppleness, the mobility. The Hofmag showed up the same blockages. One treatment would sometimes change the complete pattern, the order of movement, the conversation, the disability, the lack of flexibility in the body in one session. We would come the next day and the horse was totally free in a different way. There was less limitations, the horse was more relaxed. He was able to then really go into the rehabilitation exercises of getting connected in the body. So this was a great help to us without getting into the technical aspect of how it actually works. The proof was in the pudding for us. We could really feel that the horses during the treatment would be very relaxed and of course enjoying that, giving the releases and showing these good feelings traveling through the body as we would in a normal release moment through the horse, through a sort of body work or a hands-on therapy or sometimes our groundwork. We were getting these also instantly with the Hofmag, eyes rolling back, yawning, getting into a meditative sleep state through the therapy. So even just the treatment alone was giving a good experience we knew, and then of course we felt in the body the next day how much improvement. And of course sometimes speeding things up is not a good thing, but if we can have a day less that the horse has discomfort, this is of great value for me in the work we do with our horses. So the Hofmag for me will be definitely something I will be continuing to use with my horses, for my horses, and of course for me, using it on myself, being able to give my own body some therapy and some treatment to stay supple, to be able to work my horses in the best way I can for my body. I hope you found it something interesting. Maybe it's something you could benefit from with your horses. And until then, be good to your horse. We'll see you next time.